श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, शील प्रभुपाद की, श्री वृंदावन धाम की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। You have to adjust this. Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for this Kartik Yatra. I'm very happy to be with you all here in Vrindavan Dham. First we offer our prayers before I start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshushanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Samkarivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachyata Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. How many of you come for the first time to Vrindavan? Oh, most of the youths have come for the first time. Okay, very nice. How many of you come for the second time? How many of you come to Vrindavan without association of devotees in the past? Really? Only two. How many of you come to Vrindavan before also, with your family, with your friends? Okay. So, those who have, it's a very surprise that many of you have never come to Vrindavan, and those who have come also have come in association devotees. So you all are very special, because those who come in association of devotees, there's an echo. There's an echo. Hare Krishna. But I am hearing my echo so much. Hare Krishna. Okay. This is okay for everyone? All right. So it's a very great fortune that many of you have come to Vrindavan, and that also only in association of devotees. This is a very special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only when you have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the Panchatattva, actually you come with the association of devotees. Otherwise, the holy places, they also are personified. And you won't experience the Dham as you would. Okay, some of you must have gone to Pandharpur and Tirupati, isn't it true, with your family and friends? Holy Yatra, how many of you have done Holy Yatra with your family and friends? Yeah. Right? And you see this ISKCON Yatra is different, no? You see that ISKCON Yatra is very different, very special, because it is mentioned that even the holy places, they reveal themselves with open heart when one comes in association of a devotee. That is why you relish. Today I was reading one book by His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj. So he was mentioning that many of the devotees who came for the first Vrindavan Mayapur festival, so they all had come from America, Europe and Australia to Vrindavan for the first time. And to them, the introduction of Vrindavan was only Krishna book. To them, the introduction of Vrindavan was only the Krishna book. And you read in Krishna book that Vrindavan is Chintamani Dham. Everywhere there is greenery. Cows are walking with so much of milk that it is pouring on the earth. Yamuna is overflowing on the banks. And everywhere there is greenery and cows are grazing. Isn't it true? But when you come to Vrindavan, the first thing you see is you are parked far away from your hotel. When you come to Vrindavan, your parking is far away from the hotel. Isn't it true? And then, somehow in the morning, when you go, the bus is quite close by. Again, when you come back from Yatra, bus is far away. Isn't it? That's what you receive for the first day, you know. So, our Acharyas, they explain that Vrindavan is revealed to the person according to his consciousness. According to his consciousness. How much he is elevating his consciousness based on the teachings of the scriptures, based on how much faith he has on the holy name and the teachings of Lord Krishna. That much, actually the holy Dham reveals itself. Otherwise, you will only see, when you come to Vrindavan, you will see, I remember one of my Shiksha Guru, Pakreshwar Pandit Prabhu, in 2000, there were a lot of, so we had come for a yatra, and a lot of devotees went and asked him various questions about Vrindavan Dham. So one of the questions one devotee asked was, Prabhuji, see, we come to Vrindavan, we come to take darshans, and this rickshawalas, they talk so rough, and they will be in a hurry, they will drop us, they will sometimes cheat us, and everywhere someone just comes and keep touching us. Have you experienced that? Baba, Baba, Baba. You seen that? They touch us. Why all these things? So he gave a very beautiful answer. He said, Are Baba, you have come to the holy place. The Lord has arranged all this to increase your tolerance. To increase your tolerance, You should not make any wrong comment, and as much as possible you should tolerate it, So I was like, wow, it's amazing, Everything is a teaching here in Vrindavan Dham. But for all of us, it is a very special mercy. Because this holy Dham is revealed to us through our general Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is Srila Prabhupada who revealed Vrindavan Dham to the whole world. He opened the gates of Vrindavan to the whole world. The way he preached, and then he himself, Prabhupada's coming back to India after his preaching in America was a big slap on the whole face of all the spiritual, so-called, I would say so-called leaders, because All our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, they write that, especially Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur predicted, there will be devotees from different part of the world who will come to the holy places in India, specifically says Mayapur also. And they will come and chant the holy names of Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada, he actually fulfilled that. And when he went to America and came back, of course it's a beautiful pastime. Sometime later I'll say in detail about Prabhupada's struggle when he went to America and how he went from India to America also. How he went from India to America also. So, when he came back with the success of his disciples, even now, when some of us, when we come to ISKCON, we see one or two foreigners, some here and there. But when you come to Mayapur and Vrindavan, you feel you are in a different world only. With the Western, what is this, This is now. Can you imagine in 1970s when Srila Prabhupada brought the first batch of Western devotees to India? It is said the local city government would declare an holiday wherever Srila Prabhupada used to go for the first time. And we have his devout disciples to do kirtan. Specifically in Surat, the governor had declared holiday in the Surat city when Prabhupada's disciples were doing Sankirtan on the streets. Imagine, it's like, what a success on the spiritual path. What a success on the spiritual path. So firstly, it is a great mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we all have the special mercy, fortune to come and visit the Dham. And of course, Srila Prabhupada's mercy means Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, today you all went to Radhakund, isn't it? You all went to Radhakund. It is a very, 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 very deep subject, Radhakund. Only exalted Vaishnavas like Dinabandhu Prabhu, Baba, they can reveal it. They are a sadhu, Vaishnavas, Acharyas who are living in the Dham and performing bhajan. You heard the pastime, the way he speaks, as if he is seeing them, The way he speaks, it's as if he is saying these pastimes of Krishna, arguing with Srimati Radharani, Radharani arguing with Krishna, and there is two teams, and there is back and forth quarrel going on, Only, it's it is like going deep into the personal life of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. Recently, one devotee has visited us in Juhu temple. So I took for Deepdan. And while I was explaining the importance of offering lamb, then I just spontaneously showed the devotee that, you see, Lord Krishna is tied by Mother Yashoda. And then you can see Krishna is in fear, and Mother Yashoda is tying, and Krishna is in fear like this. So I said, what is this? He says, this is the symbol of pure love. He says, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom the great yogis are trying to understand by their long, long tapasyas, whom the impersonalists are also trying to understand through their reading shastras and austerities. All the spiritual seekers are trying to find that Supreme Lord. And that Lord is tied up by the love of Mother Yashoda and is in fear. He is in fear. He is in fear. That Supreme Lord whom everyone is trying to search, he is in fear being tied up by Mother Yashoda. It is said it was the love of Mother Yashoda which tied. And that love, which is exemplified in Vrindavan, it's called Brajabhumi, the land of love. That is revealed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is revealed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sent the Goswamis, he sent Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarbha Goswami, even before the 6 Goswamis came to excavate the pastimes, the places of pastimes of Radha and Krishna. The places of pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, some places were there, Janmasthan and Baki Bihari Mandir, many places were there, but very remote places, this 12 forests of Vrindavan and the deeper pastimes, many of this work was done by our Goswamis. If you have been to Radha Damodar temple, you will see that. They would stay there and they would write scriptures, they would search the holy places. Last time when I gave a class, I spoke about the Kangan Kund. How many of you remember? Did Baba speak about Kangan Kund today? Yes. And I think he is 35 years staying, Few days ago I was introducing him to one devotee and I told, he is our Dinabandhu Baba. He is residing in Vrindavan from last 32 years. He said 35. 35. So residing in Vrindavan Dham from 35 years. So real revelation of Vrindavan is association of sadhus. And that is available today, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, specifically by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. They all are representative. And we all know so many beautiful pastimes. So many beautiful pastimes. It is said that a soul, a jiva, a living entity, it can derive pleasure only in 2 things. Anyone knows what are the 2 things? Hearing Krishna Katha. Okay, very nice. Devotional service. Second thing, it is a specific devotional service. Yes. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, Kirtan, Sankirtan. It is said the soul can derive happiness only in 2 activities. Only in 2 activities. Everything else has to be in connection to these 2 activities only. That is human life. And these 2 activities are hearing about Krishna. So when you hear about Krishna, you get attracted to Krishna. You get instructions from Krishna's pastimes. You understand the philosophy and then you have to apply. That's called hearing about Krishna. And chanting the holy name of Krishna. In Sankirtan, remembering a Panchatattva, raising your hands and loudly chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And our japa. So when we do our chanting also, morning japa, actually with rapt attention, japa means not only chanting, also hearing. That's called complete japa. We should hear the holy name very attentively. That will go into our heart. The holy name enters the heart, purifies our heart through the ears. So we should be very careful. Chanting doesn't mean, just, bringing the name out. But it also means to hear it. Hear it. And it enters the heart and purifies our heart. So we derive pleasure in that. And then we can relish. Then we can relish Krishna consciousness. And then when we hear the pastimes, like Kartik month is so famous. I was reading some pastimes from a very special book called Anand Vrindavan Champum. It's written by one of our acharyas, Kavi Karnapura, translated by Banu Maharaj. So in that, of course, in Krishna book is the same. This is actually the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. More detailed. So the famous pastimes which are there in this month and also in Krishna's pastimes are that the sweet childhood pastimes. When Krishna started crawling and a little bit walking, he actually went one day to steal butter. And as per Krishna book, this was one of the first times he attempted to steal butter. Attempt and actually stole butter. So he went and took the pot, removed the cover of the pot, took the butter and started eating nicely. And suddenly while eating, his attention went to the opposite pillar. And he saw someone, got scared. Very scared, And then he told that, please don't tell anyone. I will give you my share. I will give you some share from this pot. Please don't. By then, Mother Yashoda came from the background, and she actually saw Krishna having a discussion with his own reflection in the pillar. So he saw Krishna reflecting with his own discussing with his own reflection on the pillar. And Mother Yashoda was smiling, looking at this. And then she asked, Lala, what happened? So he said, Maya, I heard something and I came here. And I saw this fellow pointing at himself. He said, this fellow was stealing butter. And when I chastised him, he's so arrogant, he chastised me in the same way and more angrily. And I told him, I'll tell Maya, and he's telling he will tell his Maya. And Mother Yashoda just lifted Krishna on her arms. Oh, really, Lala? I'll make sure I'll tell Baba to, take care of this fellow who's there, Come beta, to Krishna away. One day, again, Mother Yashoda, she noticed that Krishna is missing. And when she noticed Krishna is missing, she actually started searching him. And finally, after all the rooms, one room which she did not go and which she did not expect it, because Krishna just had his Rajbhog, had his lunch. And after a while, she did not expect that Krishna will be there. It was in the butter storehouse, the only room which she did not check. And when she checked, when she went there, and she opened the door, and she saw Krishna, his hand is in the butter pot, like this. And Mother Yashoda says, Lala, what are you doing? He said, Maya, he removed his hand out. He said, Maya, this ruby bracelet of mine, because of the reflection of the sun on it, it has become so hot. I could not tolerate the heat only. And just to cool my ruby bracelet, I've kept my hand in the butter. So Mother said, oh my Kanhaiya, Lala. She took him on the lap. She said, oh my God, show me, my dear son, show me your beautiful hands. Where is your burns? And Krishna very nicely started rubbing the butter and started showing Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda, with so much pleasure in their heart, started kissing the ruby, this thing. I know, don't la, my Lala, it will be cooled down. Don't worry about it, This was done, and there were so many innumerable pastimes, where Krishna used to steal butter. But this was not all in all. Eventually, the Lord even started going out and stealing butter. He started going out and stealing butter also. And that was too much, for Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba to take it up, to tolerate that. So of course, there are many pastimes of Krishna stealing butter. One of my favorite, which I always share, several times I share, is that one day Krishna was sleeping in the morning, and there was a big commotion outside Nanda Bhavan. There was a big commotion outside Nanda Bhavan. So Mother Yashoda, she woke up Krishna. She said, Krishna, get up. Look who have come. So Krishna was very annoyed. Arey, Maya never wakes me up like this. Whenever Mother Yashoda would wake up Krishna, she would have 3-4 types of fruits on the table. Sweets actually. We also offer that Mangal Bhog. 3-4 types of milk sweets. She would keep it on the table and then wake up Krishna. And then as soon as he gets up, she would offer these sweets. But this time she just pulled off the chadar. And then she asked, Krishna, please come out. So Krishna came out. And then the gopis were complaining. And they all together were complaining like it was a complaint of the whole month, I guess. So They were telling that, see, Mother Maya, you put Krishna to sleep, and we also put our children to sleep, and when we wake up, our butter is stolen. When we wake up in the morning, our butter is stolen. So, and we all have pure evidence, because the marks of the ankle bell marks which is on the butter, and also the footprints with all these things, it's for sure it is Krishna, nobody else. And then Mother Yashoda felt very embarrassed. Now, our acharyas also explained the reason of this embarrassment. The reason of his embarrassment was Krishna was stealing butter, whereas Nanda Baba has 9 lakh cows. You understand? Nanda Baba has 9 lakh cows, and Nanda Baba's son is Krishna, and he is stealing butter in the other's house. So it's very embarrassing for Mother Yashoda to take this, So Mother Yashoda, and then the gopis also mentioned that, you see, it is too much for, they were actually almost regretting that why it seems that they were also blaming Mother Yashoda. Looks like, you don't keep the best quality of the butter for Krishna, that you are selling and you are not giving him the good quality. That is why you did. So Mother Yashoda's heart was so emotional and she felt so sad. She actually said, no, don't worry, this will never happen again. And then she pulled out her stick to punish Krishna. And then Krishna was stunned. He never saw Mother Yashoda going so far in his so far life, So then Krishna stood up. Just like if you read the Krishna book in Govardhan Leela, how Krishna talks to Nanda Baba, then he says, oh Maya, wait, this is injustice in the house of great Nanda Maharaj. It is injustice. He said, Krishna, I'm not going to hear any of your explanation and get fooled by you. I said, no Maya, I'm not telling you anything fool. I'm not fooling you. I'm not fooling you. What I mean to say is, even in the greatest assembly of justice, before giving the justice, both parties are heard. How is it that a punishment is declared and in the process without hearing the second party? So Mother Yashoda could not say anything. She said, speak, speak. So she said, Maya, while the gopis were complaining, I was contemplating, I'm the son of the king of Vrindavan, and I have so much butter, and these useless gopis and their useless, tasteless butter, why would I taste this? It's below my dignity to even go to their house, forget about stealing. And the gopis were getting red, looking at Krishna. And she said, then, Krishna, very intelligent, then I was contemplating how all of them together can come complain. So it's a big plot. It's a not small plot, Maya. It's a very big plot. What is that? He said, and then I was thinking what this plot can be. I'm a little boy. Then I understood, Maya. Actually, you see, they want to have the fortune what you have. So what is that? So Maya, you have the fortune to have my first darshan. Like we have in the temple 715, Govindam Adi Purusham. You have the fortune of having my first darshan. You decorate me very nicely with pearls and rubies, and then you make sure I'm perfect, and then you send me out. So these gopis want to have the fortune what you have, to have my darshan, and this blame is only a reason to come here morning. These blames are only reason, these are all liars. When I heard this pastime from one of the senior devotees, he was mentioning when Krishna was narrating this, his side of the version, he says the gopis' hearts were melting in love for Krishna. They were so much in pleasure seeing Krishna lying, defending himself, explaining his side of the version. They just left the punishment and a complaint there, enjoyed that whole narration of Krishna, took it in their heart and went away. This is Vrindavan. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. So, in this way, there are so many innumerable pastimes, in regard to stealing of butter happen. And every pastime has so much of teachings, like I briefly mentioned the last time when I was giving the online class. The famous pastime is Damodar Leela. It's also class called Damodar Mass. We are offering also Deep to the Lord. And it is such a beautiful pastime actually. It's a butter stealing pastime only. How Krishna actually, when Mother, it is such a beautiful narration that Mother Yashoda is churning the butter. Some of the maids were busy with some other activities. So that day, she said, okay, fine, I will churn the butter for Krishna. So while churning, she was actually singing Krishna's pastimes only. While churning the butter for Krishna, she was singing Krishna's pastimes. And while she was singing, some of the Krishna came there and started pulling her. And Krishna's demand was, forget about making butter for me, which I'll eat later. Right now I'm hungry. Please feed me. And Krishna was pulling and shaking Mother Yashoda. So Mother Yashoda saw Krishna. Oh Lala, what happened? And Krishna was pulling loud. She understood that he's hungry. So she took him and gave her breast to Krishna, and Krishna started drinking milk. Krishna started drinking milk of Mother Yashoda with great pleasure. And Mother Yashoda, she was so satisfied. It is unimaginable, and neither anyone can explain that the Supreme Person, Sri Krishna, Adi Narayan, the Paramatma within the heart of everyone, the creator, maintainer of the three worlds and the whole creation. He is in the laps of Mother Yashoda and drinking her milk for his survival. So suddenly Mother Yashoda remembered, oh, she has kept milk in the kitchen, which will overflow and fell down. Of course, one of our Acharya explains and our Baba explains it more beautifully. He though acts as if he is seeing that pastimes, He says that suddenly the milk was there in the kitchen. The milk fell. If Krishna is drinking Mother Yashoda's milk, what is my use of living then? The milk actually came out of the vessel and started falling down. To fell in the fire and burn itself. And Mother Yashoda's eyes went there and she immediately left Krishna and ran to save that milk, which is also for Krishna's service. Krishna felt very offended. He said, very offended. How could she disturb him while taking milk? So Krishna felt so different, he couldn't understand what to do. He went inside where the butter was there and he took stones and threw on the butter and spilled the butter in the whole room. By the time Mother Yashoda, who came back, she saw, my God, just a moment, so much anger, so much ego, just kept in, went to the kitchen and came back. My God. So then, when Krishna realized that Mother Yashoda is coming, he came out of that room and he realized that he has done blunder, not a mistake this time. Because stealing the butter was something, throwing stone on the pots and breaking them is a real offense. He never did that before actually. So Mother Yashoda got so angry and Krishna from the back door went out actually. When he went down, Mother Yashoda started searching him. And then when Krishna saw Mother Yashoda, started running. And Krishna was running and Mother Yashoda was running behind. We have this famous drawing, Krishna is running and Mother Yashoda is chasing. So Krishna is running, Mother Yashoda is chasing him. Krishna is running. Mother Yashoda was not able to catch him, Krishna. Krishna was running very fast. It is said that vision is so beautiful that the Supreme Lord whom everyone wants to, acquire or reach him, he is being chased. He is being chased. It is said Mother Yashoda's body was getting loose, clothes were getting looser, her hairs opened up, and there were so many flowers, on her hairs. They were all falling down on her feet. And our acharyas, they explained that those flowers were actually offering their obeisances to the feet of Mother Yashoda, and they were making their life perfect by falling at the feet of Mother Yashoda, who was actually chasing Krishna. And then finally when Krishna saw that Mother Yashoda is very tired, he actually allows her to catch him. He allows her to catch him. And not only that, his whole, if you read the Damodar Ashtakam, you all went for, no? Dibdan? The whole Damodar Ashtakam explains Krishna's situation. When Mother Yashoda catches, he is breathing loudly. You read that? Muhushwasha kampa. out of fear, he's breathing loudly, fear in his eyes. And Mother Yashoda is looking at him angrily. And then Mother Yashoda throws the stick and thinks that Krishna is very fearful, but I have to punish him. So Mother Yashoda decides to tie him to the wooden mortar. Now, we all know that Mother Yashoda took all the ropes in her house and she was trying to tie Krishna. Every time when she was rolling that rope around Krishna and the wooden mortar, it was 2 fingers small. Then she went to the neighbors' houses and she actually requested for ropes. And when they all gave their ropes also, then Mother Yashoda again tried to try Krishna. Then again, it was 2 fingers small. Again 2 fingers small. Then after a while, Mother Yashoda was able to tie Krishna. Now there are 2 beautiful explanations our Acharya give here. One explanation is about the 2 fingers. One finger is the indication that a devotee has to endeavor to progress in spiritual life. One has to put full endeavor to progress in his spiritual life, which means every individual has to work hard, sincerely to progress. And the Lord within the heart as a Paramatma sees how sincere we are and He blesses us. And the second finger indicates that you may do your endeavor, but until the Lord sanctions, you will not get it. So we need 2 things always in our spiritual life. One is our sincere endeavor to follow the 4 regulative principles, to chant 16 rounds, to follow the teachings of our acharyas, to read the scriptures. We have to endeavor from our side. And that endeavor will be fulfilled when the Lord's mercy is there. And the Lord's mercy depends a lot on our sincerity. And that the Lord sees from within the heart, how much sincere we are. So this is what our acharyas explain, the meaning of 2 fingers. And one more thing our acharyas beautifully explain. It is said, while all the gopis were giving some of them were even giving their hairbands to tie Krishna as a rope for Mother Yashoda. But still it was not happening. Finally, through via one gopi's hairband came. And when that gopi's hairband came, Krishna surrendered to tie himself. Who is that gopi? Srimati Radharani. It is said that a hairband of Srimati Radharani came as a rope. One of our acharyas explained that also in the Damodar Leela. Of course, this Leela, after Krishna, I was reading few days ago Krishna book. So, in this Leela, after Mother Yashoda has tied Krishna, of course, Baba explains, I heard from Dinavandhu Prabhu, that as soon as Krishna is tied like that, his head is down, with great sorrow, swollen face, angrily standing like this, And by that time, Lord Balaram comes. He comes and he sees from far away Krishna is tied. And Balaram is famous to get angry. So Balaram walked inside angrily, came closer and angrily saw here and there. He said, "Who did this to you? Who can have the courage to do this with you?" Very angry looked at him. He said, "Mother Yashoda, I told you so many times. I told you so many times. Why you get into all this thing? So many times you've been preached. Why you mess around with this thing, Immediately as soon as he heard Mother Yashoda, Balaram gave it up, Not my jurisdiction to protect Krishna. He gave it up. No? So then, after a while, when Krishna was tied, he actually drags the mortar. We will go to Gokul day after tomorrow, no? Gokul, you will see that mortar, the place where this pastime happened, and replica Arjuna tree is still there. So Krishna, he dragged that mortar, now see, I will explain to you, but you also have to imagine according to you. In Nanda Bhavan, there were two Ashoka trees, Nanda Bhavan means It's spiritual. I cannot, like if you go to Krishna Balram Mandir for Deepdan, they say 5,000 people came. But 5,000 people cannot fit in. Only temple expands. You cannot see that. Then it's all transcendental. It is not 1 + 1 2. That match doesn't work in spiritual life. It's beyond our sense perception and our material calculations. So it is said in Nanda Bhavan there were 2 big Ashoka trees, and Krishna saw them, and Krishna went towards. And now there's a beautiful pastime why these trees are here. Actually, they are 2 great demigods, Nala Kuber and Manigriv. They were actually the sons of Kubera, the treasurer of demigods, the treasurer of the demigods, Kubera. So Kubera's sons, they actually in the higher planets, in the demigods planets, they were actually enjoying, and they were enjoying with Apsaras. They were enjoying with Apsaras, and in a lake they were enjoying with the Apsaras, and they were very drunk. They were not in an external consciousness. They were naked, and they were enjoying with this Apsaras. And while they were doing this, very abominable activity, Narada Muni passed by. Narada Muni passed by. Now, in the higher planetary system in today's age, if you can imagine, in 5,000 years ago, or maybe 36, it is mentioned 38,000 years ago, I don't know, in the Krishna book. Such an activity, such an action was happening, Nowadays you turn around in the cities, everywhere this is happening actually. So when Narada Muni saw that, he felt very pain in his heart, He felt, these are sons of Kubera. And as soon as the Apsaras, they saw Narada Muni, they immediately actually covered their bodies. But Manigriv and Nalakuber were so intoxicated, they drunk also. They could not, they were not even their senses. They were just standing like this. So Narada Muni, he cursed them. He cursed that you have no shame, so you just stand like a tree only. Tree has no clothes, nothing wearing, no waking up, no taking bath, no washing, brushing, nothing. Just be like a tree. He cursed them to become trees. But where? In Nanda Bhavan. So it is said, of course, Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj says beautiful thing. He says that if you are not chastised, corrected by Guru and Vaishnavas, you are still being cheated. You are still being cheated. Jiva in the material world is suffering because of his independence, because of his false ego, because of his arrogance, because of his independence. Some people to tell also, I am not arrogant, like that they'll say, I am very humble. I never back answer. I practically seen. I never back answer. I said, Mataji, you don't need to back answer. The way you are speaking is dead answer. Man is finished. So we all are suffering because of all these things. We don't even know. That how much we are suffering because of our false ego. So, Narada Muni cursed them to become tree. And Lord Krishna, remember, then Narada has cursed this, demigods. So Krishna dragged the wooden mortar and he reached to the trees, and the trees were like this, and he was passing through the trees. And the mortar got stuck between the trees. And he just pulled. As soon as he pulled, loudly, these trees fell down. And all the Brajvasis came running outside. Of course, before that, it is said, immediately, as soon as the trees fell and the sound spread around, people heard, they all were searching what happened, where it happened. Sometimes you hear some dum karke happen. Hey, kidhar se awaaz aaya? You come out of the house, no? You see, nowadays in the flat, that business is not there until there is a blast. In villages it's different, Something happened, people come out in small towns. So, by the time people could come out, these two personalities came up and they offered their prayers to Lord Krishna. They offered their prayers to Lord Krishna, and then after offering prayers, they circumambulated the Lord, did parikrama of the Lord. And Lord is tied, He is tied with the mortar and is standing there, and they've circumambulated the Lord and they go. By then, all the villages, they come out, Brajvasis, they come out, they come running, Nanda Baba comes, Yashoda is searching, where is Krishna, such a sound has come. And before this already he had killed Agasura, then Putana had come, and not Arishta pastime has not yet happened. Trinavata had come already. So Mother Yashoda was already in anxiety that, someone is against, my son. So she came running, searching for Krishna. Now Krishna was standing there, the trees have fallen down. Nanda Baba came, and they all were thinking, what happened? How could these big trees, two of them fell together? There is no storm, there is no wind. How did these two trees fell? And they were just, if you read the Krishna book, they all have their own speculation. Maybe this happened, maybe that happened, that demigod was unhappy, this, that, kisi ka nazar lag gaya Krishna ke upar. They were all discussing. By that time, the small boys who were playing around there, they came and they started narrating. You should hear this from Dinabandhu Prabhu. So beautifully explained. He explains, as if like the boys came and they started talking to Nanda Baba. Baba, what happened? What happened? Krishna just, he didn't do anything. He just pulled little. He just moved. The mortar got stuck between the trees. Krishna did not do anything. He just moved little and the trees fell down. I swear we are not speaking the lies. And two great personalities came. Baba, they were looking at Krishna and then they were praying obeisances again and again. Tears were flowing for their eyes. They were speaking something to Krishna. We did not understand. After they circumambulated Krishna and they flew away, Baba, we are not speaking the lies. And they said, the Brajvasis, they heard them with great attention. And they felt that the sound of the tree, the falling down, had an effect on their mind. and they just left the boys. They just left the boys. They didn't listen. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't take the boys seriously. And that is, the life went on in Vrindavan. There is one very nice, after Nalakuber and Manigriv, they offered their prayers. After they offer their prayers, Krishna actually speaks to them. And this is a very special statement which Krishna makes actually. After the whole Damodar Leela, Nalakuber, Manigriv are delivered, and before they are delivered, Krishna gives them one final statement. And that is the beauty of Lord Krishna's mercy on his devotees. Krishna is telling this. He says, if someone is able to by chance see face to face a great saintly person like Narada, who is always serene and merciful to everyone, then immediately the conditioned soul becomes delivered. So the pastime begins with Narada feeling compassionate towards the son of Kubera. Out of his compassion, he blesses them to be punished at the same time, have the darshan of the Lord after you are punished. When the Lord gives the darshan, he is glorifying his devotee, that you had a great fortune, and because of that great fortune, you had darshan of my devotee. By that darshan you are delivered. So the devotee is sending the conditioned soul to the Lord. The Lord is sending back the devotee to the conditioned soul. Sorry, the Lord is sending the conditioned soul to the devotee. This is the rasa between the Lord and his devotees. And it's very difficult to understand. The only way I can explain the rasa of Vrindavan is like, one day, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, only in the line of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we have this special mercy to understand this rasa of Brajabhumi, Shri Vrindavan Dham. One day, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, He told Srila Prabhupada, is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the greatest devotee of Krishna? Is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna? So Srila Prabhupada was quiet for a few seconds. He said no. He said no. Isn't it a surprise? He said no. He said, Lord Chaitanya is mad about Krishna. He said, Lord Chaitanya is mad about Krishna. He's not. And then we also see material madness, isn't it? Isn't it true? We see in this material world the material madness. The material madness is possession, material beauty, name, fame. Isn't it? People are mad about this thing. I mean, now it's all over. It's with the smartphone, everything is finished. My God, I travel a lot and flights. Oh, you have to just see Mataji's on the cell phone. And they don't know that back people are looking at them. Oh my God. I just feel I can just, oh. And it's with everyone, It's with everyone. It's not only with Mataji's. Boys are always. People are just mad. This body is, it is not the truth. We are a spirit soul within the body. And because of this, being mad about this untruth, they say the world's second biggest industry is cosmetic. So that you can look younger and beautiful. You should see marriages. My God. I cannot mention my wife is here, but her sister got married recently. 2 makeup fellows. 2 makeup. My God. And our Pramod is there, Where is he? Pramod. I left the outside world 22 years now, So Pramod is India's #1 marriage photographer. He's an award winner. So when he wanted to join us, I said, show your work. So he showed me all pre-marriage photos. Now people have a very selected pre-marriage photo sessions. Before marriage they will do photo session. For that they spend lakhs. And our some good, बोलते ना, एक कवि ने बोला है, दिल्ली का लड्डू जो खाया वो पछताया, जो नहीं खाया. Marriage is like that, This is like a laddu. It is a laddu. It is a laddu which is just in front of you. And there are 2 category of people. One who has the laddu already. So he says, जो खाया वो पछताया. जिसके पास वो लड्डू already suffer कर रहा है. And the guy who has not eaten that laddu, watching at it, he's also suffering because he's thinking, मुझे कब मिलेगा ये लड्डू? He's also suffering. And it is such a suffering that unimaginable. Not marriage. I am married. Krishna conscious life is different. In general, material world is such a suffering. So where was I when I was telling this? In the Krishna pastime. I am just checking all of you are attentive or not. I remember it. Yeah, the kids were narrating, thank you. But I was explaining that Lord Prabhupada was asked that who is Lord Chaitanya? He says, mad about Krishna. So materially people are mad, and we just spoke about it, and they are covered by Mahamaya. Mahamaya, energy of the Lord, means who makes you feel. If you are little Saula, it will make you feel that Shah Rukh Khan is also black. If you are fair, it will make you feel, if you go to gym, you are not less than Salman Khan. You know, that's Mahamaya in everything, you know. It just drives you mad, you know, with this all external possessions and beauty. Everyone is engrossed in this, you know. But Yogamaya, she also has the special energy is making you mad. And that madness is revealed by the residents of Vrindavan. These boys were very seriously explaining that this Nalakuber and Manigriv, these demigods, they were actually offering obeisances to Krishna, crying when they heard about all these things. And they just said that, nah. There is some effect on their brain because of the sound of the tree falling. Why? Because they are mad in love of Krishna. And Krishna enjoys that love. Through Yogamaya, Krishna just covers them. Because Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example of this, you know. He gives that once there was a great minister, president, you know, and there were ministers waiting to meet him. And they said that the minister is very busy, he cannot meet you. And the people were waiting for a long time. And when they opened the door little bit, they were shocked, you know. They said, what is this, you said? Because the president was like a bull, and his 3 grandchildren were sitting on him and beating him. Chalo, 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 you know. And they were like, we ministers are waiting here, and this fellow he become a donkey there, no bull there, and his grandchildren are playing on him. What is this? See, Prabhupada says that in that pleasure, in that activity by the president, the grandchildren were very happy. Isn't it true? His grandchildren were very happy. But more than the grandchildren, who was happy? Huh? The president, isn't it true? Isn't it the president? Like we have fights, but when we fight with our children and they beat us and we act, oh, the child enjoys, but who enjoys more? The father. He enjoys more. So similarly, the Lord, He enjoys with His pure devotees. And the highest level of devotion, pure devotion, prema bhakti, it was actually here in Vrindavan Dham only. Really, you know, Krishna premis, they are lovers of Krishna. So Krishna, their love was so blind towards Krishna that even when Krishna killed Putna, they said that, you know, by the mercy of Lord Narayan, Krishna got saved. You know, they would pray. And Mother Yashoda would remove nazar of Krishna, put kajal to him. You know, Krishna ko kya nazar lagega? You know, Mother Yashoda used to do that. You know? So this is pure love, which is seen here in Vrindavan. And for us, you know, all of us, association is the most important aspect to learn this philosophy, to relish this philosophy. Without association, it is actually not possible. Like, you know, in Krishna book only, when it is said that when Kamsa actually wanted to kill, because when the 8th child, the 7th, when Krishna was already in the womb, so it is said Kamsa was very disturbed. Throughout he was contemplating, Vishnu will come, he'll kill me. Many times, I heard from Gaur Krishna Maharaj's class, many times, especially when Krishna was in the womb, he would go and he would think that, why I should take so much stress, better I kill Devaki. But when he would go, when Krishna was within, Kamsa just could not think. And it is said the thoughts used to come to his mind that if I kill a woman, I will lose my fame, you know, and I will be disgraced. In this way, Krishna, he would be very disturbed and he would think, no, I should not. But our acharyas, they explain that it was the presence of Krishna. It was the presence of Krishna which actually transformed and would give these thoughts to actually Kamsa. And then Maharaj was mentioning that, the power of association is like that. In the presence of devotees who are carrying the consciousness of the Lord, His teachings in their heart, in their mind, in their actions, one actually has a great transformation. So we all are here in Vrindavan in association. We should take advantage of this. And this time we are there for 10 days, 8 to 10 days, You should all, when actually you all are going back from Vrindavan, going back to your destinations, you should actually just see your photo and see your photo before coming to Vrindavan. And let me know what do you feel. Let me know what you feel. There is so much transformation in one's own individual consciousness actually. In a similar way, to be in Vrindavan in the month of Kartik is very, very special. As I mentioned, there are so many pastimes, like we heard about Radha Kund manifesting, Damodar Leela, which happened this month. In few days there will be Govardhan Puja, the day Lord performed Govardhan Leela. Sometime later I'll speak that. Then there is Deepavali, Lord Rama coming back to Ayodhya. Then of course in the beginning of the Kartik is Rasa Purnima, Sharad Purnima. Even end of the Kartik is a Purnima. It's also the day Krishna performs pastimes with the gopis, rasa dance, which is also another very, very deep subject. And we do also have the very special festival of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. Srila Prabhupada's disappearance festival. And now it is all Srila Prabhupada's preaching. Srila Prabhupada's preaching, which has brought all of us here to Vrindavan. And his style of preaching, his purpose, his books. If you read those books, and if you have read those books, you have heard those philosophy, when you come back, if you've been to Radha Damodar temple, just imagine Srila Prabhupada was already 72. His children had already grown bigger and married. And Srila Prabhupada was living in Vrindavan in the 60s, late 60s. Where he was living in Radha Damodar temple, right in front of the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. If Srila Prabhupada had to go back home, back to Godhead, or he had to just perform his devotional service, there was no better place than Sri Radha Damodar temple. Prabhupada had to just sit there and chant and leave his body and have a samadhi there like all other acharyas. Krishna Balram Mandir, when we talk about Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day, is a very great pride of the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a very great pride when one takes the risk to fulfill the mission of his Guru, follow the instruction of his spiritual master, when one takes the risk to go and give the holy name to the entire world, how is he rewarded? So we know Srila Prabhupada, of course there are so many beautiful pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, how he preached. A couple of them I'll share. One is when Srila Prabhupada went to London. When Srila Prabhupada went to London, so there were reporters who came to airport to interview Srila Prabhupada. So one of them asked, Swamiji, why have you come here? So Prabhupada ignored that question a couple of times, but still that lady kept on asking. So Srila Prabhupada said, I have come to give you something which you did not take when you were in India, the Vedic culture. The Britishers had come to India and they were chores. They came and stole. They were chores only. They were actually frauds. They came as a East India company and stole our gold and everything and went back. So Prabhupada's point was, you thieves, when you came to steal India, something you did not take with you, I have come to give you that. That is the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. One more time. And that was Srila Prabhupada. He never missed an opportunity to preach strongly. One more time, his disciples in Paris arranged Prabhupada's meeting with the mayor of Paris. Anyone has seen that video? With the mayor of Paris in his assembly. And the disciples, when they saw this pastime of Srila Prabhupada, they said that, I will anyways tell that. So Prabhupada was sitting, and there was a big room, and with a big round table, and all government officials were sitting in one chair, and Prabhupada was sitting one chair with a stick like this. If you've seen photo of Srila Prabhupada, so suddenly the mayor came. All were waiting for him, and the mayor came in. You seen the video? Everyone stood up, and Prabhupada was sitting. And Prabhupada asked his disciple, what happened? He said, so Srila Prabhupada, the mayor has come. Prabhupada looked at the mayor, and the mayor also felt embarrassed, Sab khade, ye nahi khada hai. And Prabhupada was having that ripe old age also, he sat on. And Prabhupada had so many garlands around him, young Western followers, and all in coat. If you see that video, all are in coat, ties, and Prabhupada sitting there with his stick. And it's actually French, I think, French. Paris, they speak French, right? French. So the conversation is in French, and everything is being translated to Srila Prabhupada. And they are mentioning, we have a great Swami from India who is visiting us. His Holiness, he has come to visit the mayor, and we are welcoming him, like that, they blah blah blah, they said. And then they asked Srila Prabhupada to speak. There was a devotee who was translating, because Prabhupada was speaking in English, the devotee was hearing it, and he was translating it in French for the whole assembly. So Prabhupada started. I don't know if it's, I think there is one slogan in Paris, in God we believe, like that. It's one of the slogans of the nation. So Prabhupada said, your country has a slogan which says, in God we believe. And the devotee hears that and translates into French. And the mayor is smiling. And Prabhupada said, so my question to you is, what are you doing for your citizens to come more closer to the God and believe more in God? What are you doing for your citizens? And this disciple looked at Prabhupada. Prabhupada, translate. That disciple, you remember the name? Yogeshwar Prabhu. He speaks this, He says that when I translated, all the assembly members were looking at me. I said, now they are going to burn me with their eyes. And the mayor was so embarrassed. And Prabhupada was again and again asking, ask. And he wanted the mayor to respond, And the mayor had nothing to say. And they just clapped and, just the time passed by. Yogeshwar Prabhu mentions, he says that was Srila Prabhupada. He says, that was Srila Prabhupada. He never missed an opportunity if he had an opportunity to attack uncivilized people, to attack leaders who are not directing the citizens to God consciousness. He says that was Srila Prabhupada. He never missed an opportunity. And of course in Vrindavan, there's one more very nice pastime. One day, if you see Krishna Balaram Mandir, after morning program, Prabhupada used to sometimes take a walk of the temple around. So one day early in the morning, Srila Prabhupada was with some of his disciples and walking around the temple. When he would come to one point and he would say, can you see? And then walk around. So the disciples, first round they couldn't understand. They looked here and there. Some of them looked up, what is there to see. So they looked here and there. So they couldn't understand. Again one round of the temple completed, second round. Prabhupada again said, came to the same point and he said, can you see? Disciples second time they got more shocked, They started looking here and there. Demigods, Narada Muni has come. Is Prabhupada seeing Indra or Brahma has come, Prabhupada is, they would love Prabhupada. They knew Prabhupada is a pure devotee, pure devotee is much more than a demigod. Is some demigods come to chant with Krishna Prabhupada or they are walking with us, they were looking here and there, And when the third round came, you know, he saw, he saw again, and he said, "Can you see?" So then Prabhupada pointed out at the light. Let the light. Actually, it was already daylight come out, and the light was on. So disciples were big leaders. They were walking with Prabhupada, but they could not see. The energy of Krishna is being wasted. You know, Prabhupada was seeing that. Prabhupada was actually, Srila Prabhupada was seeing that light and trying to guide those disciples. Can you see? You know, can you see the Baba light is on? It's already sun out. So like that, so many beautiful pastimes. Actually, Prabhupada's pastimes are not different than Krishna. And there are so many missionary pastimes, you know. There's, you know, of the book distribution, especially for Sankirtan devotees. When Vrindavan temple was being built, Shauri Prabhu, he shares a pastime. He said Prabhupada wanted money to build Vrindavan temple. And somehow there, I don't know the pastime behind a group of devotees being in Japan to distribute books, but they were spending a lot of money to Srila Prabhupada from Japan. And Shauri Prabhu, who was in the book distribution team in Japan, he explains how they were fascinated that Srila Prabhupada needs money to build Vrindavan temple. We have to send that money. So these disciples, they would like, there would be various tourism spots in Tokyo. And the devotees, Sankirtan devotees, they knew that spots. They would just attack the tourists to sell books. Attack means they would just reach out. Hey, this book is for, hey, how are you? Come here, like that, you know. You know, sometimes you know that someone is fooling you, but you cannot do anything. Give him that and just move ahead, you know. Like that, hey, how are you? Are you from where? The tourist guide was fed up of Sankirtan devotees. He said as soon as that guide would see from the bus that Sankirtan devotees are, he would just take the bus and move ahead. And still the devotees would run behind the bus, you know, sell the books. The tourism ministry got so fried that they arrested Shauri Prabhu and the devotees. And they deported them. They cancelled their visa. And from Japan, they deported them back to America. With blacklisting them that they have created nuisance. But after a week, they felt the books are not going as good as it was going in Japan. So Shauri Prabhu and a group of devotees, they changed their names legally. Changed their names. Applied for a passport with a different name. Again took a visa and went back to Japan. Again took a visa and went back to Japan. And then after 2 months, they were again deported. And he mentions that Prabhupada desires something. Srila Prabhupada desires something. We were ready to do anything. We were ready to do anything if Srila Prabhupada desired something. This movement came up because of that. Yeah. Because of that committed missionary devotees of Srila Prabhupada. In the line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, ISKCON is one of the branches of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But ISKCON stands for revolutionary movement, missionary movement. Mission ISKCON is not meant for some people who want to be some, you know, nowadays some people come, you know, दीक्षा हो जाएगा तो पाप धुल जाएंगे पिछले जन्म का गुरु ले लेगा पाप, you know. Or just to be some good person, you feel very nice, the philosophy is very nice, it makes sense, the guys have very nice logic, you know. Nowadays somehow the crowd which is coming is very shallow. Prabhupada's missionary was anything. It's unfortunate, but we should always know that the spirit which Srila Prabhupada and his disciples had is actually ISKCON all about. And that's how, even if you see this way of coming, actually it's already time now. Sometime other day I will cover some more pastimes of Srila Prabhupada and Vrindavan of Lord Krishna. But we should all know that the only way we can actually make our spiritual life perfect is by, you know, one first most important thing is sincerely endeavor to progress in spiritual life. And the second thing is extend yourself to serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are the two things which can always help us to keep away from Maya or protect us from the attacks of Maya. Protect us from the attacks of Maya. My Guru Maharaj in Khargar temple, he was telling that nowadays Indians have become very weak spiritually. He says as soon as they earn some money, first thing is they will make sure they have one house for themselves and then one house for each child, and then if still money coming, they will make sure even grandchildren have house. After that, whatever little bit coins are left, they will donate it to ISKCON. After that, whatever little bit coins are left, they will say, "Arey, we should donate also, no?" Unfortunately, he said, unfortunately, that has become life today, human life in India. Whereas, to coming association of devotees or build a temple of the Lord would used to be a pride in the Vedic time. Used to be a pride. So it's a great duty for all of us who are in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada to bring back the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission as given by Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. So one thing I forgot to conclude, I am very sorry. Srila Prabhupada, he took the risk. I spoke about the pastimes of preaching. When Prabhupada left, see, His Divine Grace was already very old when he left from India. And while he was traveling, he got 2 heart attacks. An old man in a place like Vrindavan takes a ship and goes to America. On the way gets 2 heart attacks. What he will think? A simple intelligent man will think that it is this indication of Radha Damodar for me to come back to them. Isn't it true? In general, we will all think, अरे राधा दामोदर की कृपा है, अभी तक जिंदा हूँ, बस शिप से उतर के और तुरंत वापस चले जाके राधा दामोदर के चरणों में जाकर ही मुझे अपना जीवन त्यागना है. No, Prabhupada did not set that example. Prabhupada did not set. He went ahead to serve the mission of his Guru, and then he came back to same Vrindavan. Now with Sri Krishna Balram, Gaurnitai and Radha Shyam Sundar. In front of them, he took Samadhi. So that is why this Krishna Balram temple is a very great pride. When we enter, we see Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada's Samadhi is a symbol for us. Lay down your life. Don't think what will happen to you. Prabhupada will take care. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Questions? Should I take some questions? Questions? Time up now. So I'll take one question. Any one question? Okay, very nice. No questions means either you understood everything or you don't understand anything. So we'll observe you now. Very good.